Unless you've been living under a rock, you're probably familiar with HBO's new adult animated series Velma. Mindy Kaling of The Office, Glenn Howerton of Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and a few other writers from The Office conceived this show to tell the story of beloved Scooby-Doo characters before they were solving mysteries full-time in the Mystery Machine. While the idea isn't bad, the creators are all connected to very successful and hilarious projects. This show was a flop, to say the least. Keep watching to hear more about why people are absolutely hating this prequel series. Where to begin? I'll start with the criticism that many fans of the original series have been quite upset about. Scooby-Doo is absent. That's right, a Scooby-Doo adaptation without Scooby-Doo. Creator Charlie Grandy, who wrote various episodes of seasons 5 through 8 of The Office, said that he wasn't able to use Scooby as a character because of licensing issues, but he had considered leaving Scooby out anyway to age up the show. How odd does Charlie know that adults also like dogs? And the demographic he was aiming this show at would have watched Scooby-Doo as children, and had a certain amount of nostalgia for him as a character. Speaking of demographic, who exactly is the show for? This may sound like a silly question, since it seems obvious that the show is for adults due to the language used and heavy topics, but there is an important aspect of the show that we have to talk about. This show has a lot of nudity. A lot. And that would be fine if the characters were meant to be adults. But no, they're in high school and they're all canonically 15 years old. Creators have spoken on this too. They seem to think that the joke is that everyone's a little inappropriate sometimes, and everyone has thought about younger people in that way. But no, they don't. Maybe some adults, but geez Louise, this is a very disturbing thought that the creators all seem to have agreed that this type of meta humor would not only be funny, but it would be a fun wink to the audience. Gross, Charlie, gross. This is a common criticism of shows like Euphoria and Big Mouth, both of which also show characters who are not meant to be minors. One show is animated, the other acted by legal adults in the nude. However, the difference is, these shows do not have this weird undertone of, well, it's okay to look, but if we could, we all would. There is also the problem with the treatment of mental health in the show. The creators clearly did want to portray a realistic representation of what it's like to have a panic attack. Velma's character is seen to suffer from them each time she attempts to solve a mystery, since she was unable to solve the mystery of her own mother's disappearance. The animation in these scenes is amazing. This is really the only saving grace of the whole show. It's smooth, it's disturbing, but in a better way than other aspects of the show. It's visceral, and it feels pretty spot on for anyone who has had a panic attack. But they couldn't just let us have that. Velma is shown to suffer from panic attacks, and other characters are able to pull her out of them by slapping her or even kissing her. This is a dangerous way to portray this type of mental health problem. We should not be telling young people, or anyone, that if your friend is having a panic attack, you should assault them. It almost feels like the writers have never experienced this before, but the animators wanted to flex their skills in these scenes. Some fans of the show, there aren't many, but there are some, have said that they like the show because it's woke. This is concerning. The only argument that one could make for the show being woke is that there happens to be characters of color and some gay characters. Wow, what trailblazers! If you're watching this video and you think that having gay characters or characters of color in a show makes it woke, then we have some bad news for you. People of color and members of the Alphabet Mafia exist in real life. Don't believe me? Well, in that case, I'm not sure how to help. But you can trust me, they are out there. I kid, I jest. But the fact is that just by having these characters on screen is no way to claim your show is revolutionary. In fact, there are a lot of homophobic and racist jokes in the show. One character is shown with a Hitler stash, and another jokes about how white people shouldn't be allowed to buy drugs, and the list goes on. With all these criticisms in mind, there is a blanket criticism that some viewers have pointed out that encompasses all of these issues. Velma herself is shown as a spiteful person who considers herself much smarter and more important than any of her peers. The show breaks the fourth wall quite a lot, but not just to make meta jokes, but to insult the audience. One of the first times we meet Daphne, she quips, "Have you ever noticed how pilot episodes of TV shows always have more gratuitous sex and nudity than the rest of the series?" She says this as we see a bunch of naked teenagers. So funny. In the pilot, Velma makes a jab at adults who still watch cartoons, insinuating that those people are druggies and lazy. Charlie, who exactly did you make this show for? We know you didn't make it for children. There is so much gratuitous violence, overly sexualized characters, and very heavy topics, so you must have made it for adults. Your show is a cartoon. Why would you immediately try to alienate the very people who will be watching your show? Charlie really is as tone-deaf as he seems. He said, "We wanted to be respectful. We didn't want to just kind of take these beloved characters and put them in outrageous or gross situations and say, 'Isn't it crazy you did that to Velma?'" Well, that's pretty much exactly what you did with this show, pal. Don't ever get us started on the offensive humor that is seen in every episode. Don't get me wrong, I'm no prude, but a character claiming that comedians were funnier before the #MeToo movement is simply offensive and not funny. Did anyone tell Charlie that satire only works if it's funny? Alright, well, that's about as much as we can stomach talking about this awful show. Its only good quality is the animation. But if you want to watch something with incredible animation, there are much better choices. Heartstopper, while live action, is based on a comic book that has sequences of animation, which are absolutely gorgeous. Anything from Studio Ghibli is sure to blow your mind. BoJack Horseman, or even South Park, which is known for its simple animation, are sure to be just as pleasing, and they also have great storytelling and writing. Did you see the show? What did you think? If you liked it, be sure to let us know. If you didn't like it, and we didn't talk about why, also let us know. We want to keep the conversation going. Don't forget to like our video and subscribe to the channel. See you all in the next one.